L L I told you so.
L. L.
I told you so.
L. 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 L.
I told you so. I told you so.
L.
Yo, what is good, people, man? It's your boy Persona Gaming, Persona, one half of the What's Up PlayStation podcast crew. Shout out to everybody here, man. I know it's been a while. I should actually be studying right now, but I'm going to study later on tonight. This is not going to be a super duper long show, but it is going to be a very entertaining one. I can tell you that. But yo, big shout out to everybody here, man. Big shout out to everybody that's going to listen to this later. Everybody that's listening to this for the first time, finding my channel. You know, I appreciate you guys. And I know it's been a while, guys. It's been a minute. And, you know, a big part of that is just the fact that I've been busy, you know, gaming, you know, trying to get through some of these games when I can play. But also, I've been studying for, you know, a certification that I'm going for, an IT certification that I'm going for. So that's kind of been my main focus. But I take my test this Friday. So hopefully after this Friday, your boy will be back a little bit more frequently. You feel me? But yo, listen, man, if you are, and like I said, if I sound a little funny, it's because, you know, I'm a little bit, I'm sick. I'm a little sick. I'm a little under the weather. You feel me? But yo, listen, if you're at work, I hope I could get you through your work day. You feel me? If you are on your way home from work or school, hopefully I could get you through your commute home. Or if you're at home, you know, cooking dinner, doing homework with the kids, cleaning up, hope I could get you through your session. Listen, you might be taking a shower. I don't know. Cleanliness is closer to godliness. Listen, you might be having matters with the significant other. I don't know. I just appreciate you putting me on. Listen, man, put a 1 in the chat if you're feeling good. Put a 2 in the chat if you're just feeling okay. Or put a 3 in the chat if you're not feeling that great at all. But I got to be honest, if you're at a 3, I want to get you to at least a 2 by the end of the show. So go on, let me know. Big shout out to everybody here, man. Yo, shout out to Toolman55, Nola Boy, what's going on with you? Big Hardcore Gamer, Kratos99, Foxing Around, Austin, what's good, bro? Object 2B, Audley. Yeah, Audley. Omar, what up, Omar? Who else is it? Yo, Vel R in the building. Vel, what's going on with you? Teasy in the building. Shout out to my boy Teasy. Viper Reaps Corner in the building. Stardust Zero in the building. We got a lot of people here, man. It's a lot of people. I'm seeing the ones. I'm seeing the ones in the chat. I love it. Is that Morgan? Morgan in the building. Shout out to Morgan, man. Yo, NG, the atheist in the building. Rollo got in the building. Cobb Sanity in the building. Nerdy Gaming in the building. How do I sound, man? Am I too loud? Am I too low? Is the sound quality good? Is the music good? Let me know in the chat, man. Let me know in the chat, man. Y'all know I always try to give you guys a high quality experience. I try. I always try. And like I said, I'm a little bit sick, guys, but I'm mustering up all the strength to be as animated and as entertaining as I could possibly be throughout this show. Even though your boy is really under the weather, we definitely gonna be having some fun tonight, man. The handline crispy. Oh yeah, man. Yo, listen, Fox, man. Come on now, man. You know how this go, man. We don't play no games out here. Your boys got to be fresh all the time. The lines got to be crispy. You could cut vegetables with how sharp that line is. God damn it. Shout out to my boy Fox, man. Ladies and gentlemen, can I listen. Normally I don't do this. Actually, I do. Why am I saying I don't when I actually do? I'm lying. We gotta let the song ride out for a little bit, man. We gotta let a song ride out just for a little bit, man. Because it's not good, man. It's not good. It's not good. Yo, Stone in the building. We vibing out. Shout out to Stone. Yo, I'm gonna say something about Stone in a second, man. I got y'all. But listen, guys. Listen, I hate to be the guy to say I told you so. Shout out to my boy Sean Layden. That's my boy. That's a friend of Wups. That's my boy, man. You understand? You know, he invited to the barbecue. You understand? Ribs, mac and cheese, the collard greens, all the goodness. Shout out to my boy Sean Later. Because Sean Later talked about this 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. He talked about this on our podcast just recently. Listen. I don't know what else to say. And listen, I got to start by saying this. You know what? A moment of silence. A moment of silence. Because it's crazy. We are seeing our industry, our hobby, the thing that we love the most, we are seeing it fall apart before our very eyes. And a large part of it is due to consolidation. A large part of it is due to bad management. A large part of it is due to the Game Pass effect. Shout out to my boy Barry. Oh, you thought we wasn't gonna go there? You thought we wasn't gonna go there? Oh yeah, we going there today. Because time and time again, we get proven right. And listen, nobody likes this, like, especially in this situation. And you know what? Let me turn off the music. Let me be serious for a second. Because I know how people can be, right? Let me be very serious for a second. I want to be very clear, right? 'Cause I know there's a lot of, people that like the clip podcast, those weirdos out there. I have to put the disclaimer out there, right? People losing their jobs, especially developers, losing their jobs is not a laughing matter. It's not a joking matter. It's not anything that we like to see. You feel me? The people that's making our games and things like that, that stuff really does suck. Studios getting shut down and things like that, that stuff isn't cool. It's sad to see. And really seeing games that could have potentially been great not even come out now, or not get fixed, or whatever the case may be. It just sucks to see what's happening within the industry as a whole. It really does suck to see. I want to put that disclaimer out there before I start talking about what I talk about, only because I know how some people can be. But that's the disclaimer. Like, none of this is a joke. None of this is a laughing matter. This is very serious, especially, again, with our hobby of gaming, and all of us that love to play games and love to, support games and things like that. This stuff is not funny. This stuff is very sad, and it's angering. It makes you angry, And again, because I know some people might try to flip this as a PlayStation versus Xbox thing, and this isn't really that, because PlayStation has their fair share of cancellations and shutdowns as well, which we've spoken about here on this channel and also on What's Up PlayStation podcast as well. That stuff is also not good. We're seeing issues across the entire board, across the entire industry, right? It's not just a PlayStation thing. It's not just an Xbox thing. It's an industry issue, right? It's all a part of a greater issue within the industry, right? Unfortunately, today, the focus is on Microsoft and what's going on, right? But again, the disclaimer is this is an industry issue. PlayStation is also not absolved of this. So I definitely want to put that stuff out there as a disclaimer before we start getting into what we get into. Cool? All right, cool. So, shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way, man. Yo, TZ, what's good? Turn your vocals up a little bit, Persona. Oh, I got to turn my vocals up. My fault. Is that better? Let me know if that's better, guys. Sorry. Nels, what's going on with you, man? Shout out to Nels. Team Ambush in the building. Yo, Stone, what's good? What's good? Shout out to Stone out here rocking out. Who else is here? Yo, Blue Mustang in the building. Yo, J-Ro, Ice Queen Gaming in the building. Appreciate you. Appreciate y'all. Yo, Stealth Guy Gaming in the building. I appreciate you. A large part of this is my fault. My bad, y'all. Nerdy Gaming. Yo, Bird in the building. Shout out to my bro Bird, man. He says, I hope Fable is not affected in the future. Yo, listen, we about to get into it, man. We about to get into it. Guys, make sure you hit the like button, share the stream out. get more people in here. I know it's been a while, guys, so I know I'm probably not in the YouTube algorithm anymore. So definitely, get the people in here, man. Share the stream out, like it, all that good stuff. All right. So I want to start by doing this, right? I want to start by actually looking at what's going on and what's happening, right? We got to kind of start with the basics, man. We got to start with the basics, start with what's going on, and kind of like we're gonna build up from there. You feel me? All right. So for those who might have been living under a rock, and honestly, I can't imagine anybody that doesn't know this by now. Like, this has been the talk of the town all day today, all over social media, all over different shows and all that. There's probably 50 million shows happening right now, so I'm sure everybody's aware of what's going on, right? So Microsoft closes the Redfall developer Arcane Studio, not to be confused with Arcane Lyon. Arcane Lyon is a separate studio from Arcane Austin. Arcane Lyon are the developers that are making the Blade game, so they're not affected by this. This is the Redfall developers. I believe they made Evil Within. Didn't they make Prey, or was that Lyon as well? That might have been Lyon. I don't know. Anyway, so the studios that are affected by this are Arcane Austin, the Hi-Fi Rush developers, Tango Works, and more. But the other two studios is Jesus Christ, I just had the names off the top of my head. Where is it? Roadhouse Games and Alpha Dog Games. Those are the other two that's affected, right? So two of these studios, these studios are going to be shut down, and I believe the other two, or one of them, is going to be rolled into one of the bigger studios and just be consolidated, and just those bodies would be moved on to work on whatever the bigger studio is working on, essentially, right? But I want to read the email that Matt Booty put out, and then we're gonna break down a couple things after this, right? Yo, Bari, what's good, man? Shout out to Bari. Shout out to my bro Bari, man. Listen, Bari did a show earlier today as well. Make sure you guys check out Bari's show. It was a really, really good show. He also did a good show yesterday. Check that out as well. Support my boy Bari, man. He on a Twitter break, so he only place where you really gonna hear or see his thoughts is gonna be either What's Up PlayStation or his personal channel. So definitely go and check that out, right? But all right, let's get into this, guys. So Matt Booty, he says, today I'm sharing changes we are making to our Bethesda and Zenimax teams. These changes are grounded in prioritizing high impact titles and further investing in Bethesda's portfolio of blockbuster games and beloved worlds, which you have nurtured over many decades. To double down on these franchises and invest to build new ones requires us to look across the business to identify the opportunities that are best positioned for success. This reprioritization of titles and resources means a few teams will be realigned to others, and that some of our colleagues will be leaving us. Here are the changes going into effect. Arcane Austin, the studio will close, with some members of the team joining other studios to work on projects across Bethesda. Arcane Austin has a history of making impactful and innovative games, and it is a pedigree that everyone should be proud of. Redfall's previous update will be its last as we end our development on the game. The game and its service will remain online for players to enjoy, and we will provide make good offers to players who purchase the Hero DLC. Alpha Dog, not studios, it's games. Alpha Dog Games, this studio will close. We appreciate the team's creativity in bringing Doom to new players. Mighty Doom will be sunset on August 7th, and we will be turning off the ability for players to make any purchases in the game. Tango Gameworks will also close. We are thankful for their contributions to Bethesda and players around the world. Hi-Fi Rush will continue to be available to players on the platforms it is today. And Roundhouse Games, the team at Roundhouse Games will be joining Zenimax Online Studios. Roundhouse has played a key role in many of our recent game launches, and bringing them into ZOS is what's ZOS? Is that Elder Scrolls Online? I might be wrong. Into ZOS to work on the I just lost my train of thought. Work on the Elder Scrolls Online will mean we can do even more to grow the world that millions of players call home. With this consolidation of our Bethesda Studio teams, so that we can invest more deeply in our portfolio of games and new IPs. A small number of roles across select Bethesda publishing and corporate teams will also be eliminated. So the blunt of it is these 4 studios that are either being, there's layoffs happening at some, and then whoever's left behind will be kind of absorbed into the larger studio or the larger teams, and then there's studio closures. But this part as well, there's also going to be layoffs happening across small number of roles across select Bethesda publishing and corporate teams will also be eliminated. So this is going up the chain, and this is also affecting some of the other parts of Bethesda as well. Not a good look. You feel me? People losing their jobs. It's just not a good look. But let's finish this up. Those whose roles will be impacted will be notified today, and we ask that you please treat your departing colleagues with respect and compassion. We will provide our full support to those who are impacted in today's notifications and through their transitions, including severance benefits informed by local laws. These changes are not a reflection of the creativity and skill of the talented individuals at these teams or the risk they took to try new things. I acknowledge that these changes are also disruptive to the various support teams across Zenimax and Bethesda that bring our games to market. We are making these tough decisions to create capacity to increase investment in other parts of our portfolio and focus on our priority games. Bethesda remains one of the key pillars of Xbox with a strong portfolio of amazing games and thriving communities. As we look to the future, there is an impressive lineup of games on the horizon. In 2024 alone, we have Starfield, Shattered Spaces, Fallout 76, Skyline Valley, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and the Elder Scrolls Online's Golden Road expansion. We also align our plans and resources to best set ourselves up for success in this complex and changing industry. Our teams across Arcane Leon, Bethesda Game Studios, id Software, Machine Games, Zenimax Online Studios, and Bethesda Publishing, and corporate teams will be well positioned to build new IPs, explore new game concept, and expand our existing franchises. A lot of that sound like bullshit, especially towards the end. It kind of started getting a little real PR-ish, right? All right, so this is kind of where I want to start with this, right? I want to start by saying this.
I told you so. I told you so.
That's where I want to start, right? This is really sad to see, because a company like Microsoft, being $1 trillion company, right? That's the thing that people love to throw out there. Oh, it's $1 trillion company. Microsoft's got endless money. PlayStation can't afford to buy publishers like this because PlayStation's broke and Sony's got no money, and this, and all these things that people have been saying across the community and on social media for years. For years they've been saying this, like, oh, Microsoft's $1 trillion company. Microsoft's going to change gaming. What Microsoft is doing is great for gamers. What's the line they love to say, ladies and gentlemen? What's the line they love to say?
But this is great for gamers. But this is great for gamers. But this is great for gamers.
That's what they love to tell you day in and day out for years. People were telling you,
but this is great for gamers.
These acquisitions is great for gamers, right? Because more gamers get to have access to more games and all this weird corporate talking pieces that just doesn't make any sense. Here's the issue. Can I speak freely? Can we go in tonight, guys? Can we pause when I say that? Can we really gonna have this conversation? Y'all ready for this, man? Strap in. I really want to have this conversation, because now it's to the point where there is no more excuses. There is no more excuses. Yo, Akira, what's good? There is no more. Oh, Morgan.
But this is great for gamers.
That's what they love to say. This is great for gamers. So listen, when Microsoft was first, let's go back to 2017. When Microsoft first introduced Game Pass, they first started acquiring some of those other studios like Compulsion and Exile and all that other stuff, right? They were very bullish, right? The mindset, I think at that time, they were very bullish, especially with Game Pass, because they kind of closed the door on being able to renege, even though to this day, I keep saying that they should go back on that and kind of change that to a case-by-case basis. But back in 2017, Microsoft introduces Game Pass. Game Pass comes out. They said they're doing all in on Game Pass and it's day and date everything and all this shit, right? That's what they said. Very bullish, buying certain studios. They want to grow the brand of Game Pass. They want to grow those numbers and see those numbers grow and grow and grow and grow, right? Fast forward to 2019 when they acquired Bethesda. In my opinion, I think the thinking at the time acquiring Bethesda was Bethesda is a big publisher. They are somebody that has a lot of IPs. They have a lot of brand recognition. They have a cult following, a large following when it comes to a lot of the games that they have put out, especially when you look at the Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls and the Fallout series, right? There's a lot there, right? So there's a lot of opportunity for Microsoft to bring Bethesda in, start putting things into Game Pass and grow the service, right? Between 2019 and 2023, excuse me, sorry guys. Between 2019 and 2023, Microsoft's thinking, between 2019 and now, let's go from 2019 and now. In my opinion, I think Microsoft's thinking has changed, and clearly we see what that thinking has changed when it comes to them putting some of their competing games on other platforms, right? But with the acquisition of Activision, right, they're thinking, especially with the amount of money that they've thrown into that, they're thinking and how they're looking at things. And it's crazy for people to sit here and think that Microsoft wouldn't even go down this route of shutting things down because they're trying to turn a profit, you know? And the fucked up thing about this is, if you've listened to me in a space over the past year, I've asked certain people, knowing what you know now, would you still be in favor for Microsoft to acquire a Zenimax or an Activision? Because remember, the layoffs at Activision happened earlier this year as well. People would still say yes. And it's mind-blowing. And they could never give a good reason why, right? Because if they give their true reason, which we all know what that is, it would make them look like a fanboy and it would make them look even more disgusting, right? But when it comes to how Microsoft has been moving, I said this so many times on Six Podcasts, Barry Show, Whoops, wherever I've said, on Spaces, I've said, somebody is going to be paying the price for the amount of money that Microsoft is shilling out for these studios and for these publishers. Somebody is going to foot the bill. I said this numerous times. And for those who watch my channel and follow me for a long time, you know this as well. I said somebody is going to pay that bill. Because Game Pass is not going to pay that bill alone, especially with the number of subscriptions or subscribers they have on that platform, on the service. It's not enough to pay that bill. It's not enough. Yo, Kelvin, what's good, bro? Walter, what's good, man? Shout out to everybody in the chat. So because there's not enough people to pay that bill, what do you do in that situation? You're looking at everybody to turn a profit. You're looking at everybody to make the most amount of money that they can, and whoever falls through the cracks gets cut. And it's not a good look. But this goes back to industry consolidation. I've been talking about this for a long time. This goes back to industry consolidation. The consolidation and again, Microsoft is now 2 publishers in, and we're seeing massive layoffs, shutdowns, and the like. You can't look at this and say, yeah, they need to buy another publisher. You just can't. And here's the thing about it, because I want to paint another picture for y'all. Shout out to Boy. Yo, no cap. What's good, bro? Walter, what's up? I think I said what's up, Walter. Here's the other thing about this, right? Let me find it. I gotta find the tweet. I think I bookmarked it. I think. Let me bookmark it, right? Did I bookmark it? Come on. Yes, I did. So, shout out to Hi-Fi Rush, right? That obviously Hi-Fi Rush is made by Tango Gameworks. Tango Gameworks got shut down. Last year, they put out 3 million players have turned up to rock in Hi-Fi Rush. Thank you to everyone at Tango Gameworks. 3 million players. This is something I've been saying for a long time as well. That whole engagement number bullshit, that's all smoke and mirror bullshit as far as I'm concerned, because it's not really painting the whole picture of how good or bad a game is doing. Now, I think Hi-Fi Rush is a really cool and unique game that, you know, I think more people should have played or completed or bought. Let me rephrase. More people should have bought, right? Because here's the thing. 3 million players, and I was saying this in a space earlier, 3 million players may only translate to 250,000 copies sold, which is a huge difference. And I'm not saying that's the number. I'm just spitballing, but you know, just hypotheticals. If 3 million players started the game up, but only 250K bought the game, and then only maybe 50K completed the game, when you really peel back the layers and peel back, that's not that good. It's not that good. And that could be an attributing factor, because again, Greenberg as well. Greenberg was talking about they were happy with the game and all this, and they were happy with it was hitting all the key metrics. But then Jeff Grubb, I remember seeing something about Jeff Grubb saying that it didn't do well, or it's not doing well, or something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing. I don't want to put words into Jeff Grubb's mouth. But it was something along the lines that it wasn't meeting expectations, or it wasn't doing that well, right? But 3 million players played the game. They have 3 million players. How do you go from 3 million players to being shut down? There's a disconnect. Yo, shout out to Kiran, what's good, man? Yo, Mario, what's good? Breaking news, Jay Barry is laying off Persona from Wups. Oh man, yo, shout out to you, Mario. Appreciate you, man. Wolfgang, what's good? Wolfman, missing me in the building. Eric, what's good? That's what I'm saying, Eric. 3 million players, but only 50K might have bought the game, or let's say 250K, or 200K, and only 50K completed the game, or 20K completed the game. Those aren't good numbers in the grand scheme of things. That could be a attributing factor. And again, part of this, well, I wouldn't even say part, a large part of this is Microsoft's fault. And it's the Game Pass effect. It's the Game Pass effect. When you condition people to not buy games, when you and again, these are through leaked emails, Microsoft themselves thinks Game Pass is hemorrhaging, it's hurting the sales of games. And you're not seeing that sustained growth through Game Pass. Heads are going to roll. And it sucks to see. It truly does suck to see. But here's the most interesting thing about this, right? Hold up. Here's the most interesting thing about this. What am I looking for? It's like so much information. Oh, here we go. Shout out to Matt Piscatella, right? Because a lot of people tend to push this narrative, especially a lot of the zealots in this community that push this weird narrative of like, oh yeah, you know, Game Pass is, or service-based gaming, subscription-based games and all this stuff is the future, and subscription-based games is what's best for gaming. And you know, I'm gonna get there's two parts to this conversation. I'm gonna get to the people that were bigging up these acquisitions and all that. Oh, we're gonna get to that. Trust me, guys. I'm gonna get to that because it's a specific person that I definitely want to call out. So we're gonna push that to the side for a second. But a lot of people were trying to push this narrative of like, oh, Hi-Fi Rush is doing better than Forspoken, and more people are playing Hi-Fi Rush, and it's being supported in this and that and da. And people were using the whole 3 million players to gauge the success of the game off of that, and not who bought the game. Matt Piscatella, with that data, with the facts, data, and statistics, he comes out and he says, for Solana's player engagement tracker, Hi-Fi Rush peak in the US was hit with its launch in January, ranking 17th on Xbox Series in active Xbox Series players playing it at least once during that month. So at the height of the hype and the excitement of Hi-Fi Rush, it was only able to reach 17th. And that's with it being in Game Pass. That's with it being within a service. And it still only reached 17th. Microsoft is looking at that and they're saying, okay, heads gotta roll. If the game was on more places, maybe it would have did a little bit better. Who knows? But it only reached 17th. But when you talk to the zealots, when you talk to the fanboys and the people that push this weird narrative, you would have thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. People didn't buy the game. They're not buying these games. That's the issue. Oh, shoot. Hold up. Something else just hit my desk. Hold on. Something else just hit my desk. Hold on, guys. Hold up. Which community manager are you talking about? Where did oh, here we go. Yo, so the Helldivers 2 community manager got fired. He got fired, apparently. It's been revealed that Spitz has been fired following comments from the community manager on the official Helldivers 2 Discord channel. When the PSN account linking announcement was made, the backlash was immediate. Many voiced their frustration across Reddit, Twitter, Discord, blah, blah, blah. And he said, players making their displeasure known through reviews, refunds, etc. give us more pull in the discussion with Sony. Spitz said, urged to see the game's popularity suffer in ratings, but discussions are ongoing and on the side of players in this fight. The outpour of negative. Wait, so this is what got him fired? Well, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I can see how this might have gotten him fired, because you can't take a stance like that so openly, because he's a representation of the company. And so if you take a stance like that so openly, they have no choice but to oblige, I would assume. I mean, I get why he was let go. You're not supposed to do that because you're speaking on the company's behalf with that. So I get him being fired for that. Pretty crazy that he would outright say that, but sucks to see. Anyway, so yeah, that's Hi-Fi Rush. Redfall was a train wreck. It was a disaster. That game was bad. Heads are gonna roll. And for Microsoft, here's the thing with Microsoft, and here's my thinking with them, right? Yo, Seattle, what's good, man? Here's my thinking, Eric. Same thing with Sea of Thieves. 40 million players. Now the game needs to go to PlayStation so the studio can stay afloat. Yo, I'm gonna talk on that too, Eric. We're gonna talk on a couple things. Here's my thinking when it comes to Microsoft. Satya Nadella. Satya only cares about he wants to be, he strikes me as the type of person that's a set it and forget it type of person. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is Satya is looking to have games be made that you put money into, you make the game up, and you put it out there, and it just keeps making money. You put new content out here and there, you sustain the game, you get more people coming in with certain events or whatever, and the content and things like that, it keeps the money coming in. Something like a Call of Duty, something like an Overwatch, something like a Candy Crush or whatever. He's a set it and forget it type of guy. And Activision is a very set it and forget it type of studio with a lot of their games that they've released. So when it comes to Microsoft, or more so Satya is looking at a lot of the games that's in flight, probably looking at a lot of the things, excuse me, a lot of the money that has been spent at Microsoft, or excuse me, at Xbox and the Xbox division. And he's like, yo, we need to maximize these profits. We just spent almost $100 billion. I want to see that revenue and those profits increase. And this is the outcome. Studio shutdowns, layoffs, closures, game cancellations. This is the outcome. But also, you got to feed the engine. And what's the engine? In this case, it's service-based games. And you can even go back and look at Phil Spencer and a lot of things that he's talked about through a lot of his interviews or appearances on shows or whatever. It's always this big emphasis on playing with friends, sharing those experiences with friends and online and meeting new people and all that. A very co-op, multiplayer-centric mindset is what Phil Spencer has been pushing for the past couple of years. Single player, smaller titles like Hi-Fi Rush, single player titles and things like that. For Microsoft, I do not, especially with Satya putting as much money as he's put into buying these publishers, I do not see Microsoft putting games like that at the forefront, especially if it's not making a substantial amount of return on investment. And part of the problem with that, and why I say Microsoft in this regard kind of dug their own, I don't want to call it a grave, but kind of dug themselves into this type of hole, is because of how bullish they were with Game Pass at the beginning. Day and date, and being very adamant and forward about that out the gate is also what put them in this type of position to where certain games that they may deem as being not necessarily a Game Pass game. This is a AAA title that we want to sell for full price only, and then trickle down to the Game Pass and into the subscription services. You can't do that. Although I do strongly think that they should renege on that, they more than likely won't. So what is the alternative? Heads got to roll. What is the other alternative? Start putting games on your competitors' platforms so that you can maximize profits. But not just any games, service-based games that have recurring revenue that can keep the money coming in. A set it and forget it type of mindset, a set it and forget it type of model. That is the future, and that is where Microsoft is heading. And having these studios that they shut down, and having them feed the beast. You telling me, what? This is the perfect example right here. You don't believe me? Oh, Persona, you don't know what you're talking about. You just howling at the moon. Copy. What did he say? Where's that? Right here. What did he say? Matt Booty just told you what it is. The team at Roundhouse Games will be joining Zenimax Online Studios. Oh, ZOS is Zenimax Online Studios. I'm so stupid. ZOS is Zenimax Online. Will be joining Zenimax Online Studios. Roundhouse has played a key role in many of the recent game launches, and bringing them into Zenimax Online Studios will work on the Elder Scrolls Online. That will mean we can do even more to grow the world that millions of players call home. Feed the engine, feed the beast. Elder Scrolls Online has been going for like 7 years, 8 years, 9 years. And they're still making money, still putting out content. Feed the beast, feed the engine, set it and forget it. And Elder Scrolls Online is also on PlayStation. It's on PlayStation. It's on Xbox, and it's on PC. And the expansion, the Gold Road expansion, is coming out in for all platforms. So that's more money coming in. That means they could put out more content faster. That's where they're at. That's where they're at for two reasons, in my opinion. Again, this is all my opinion. I ain't no business person. This is just, just having good conversation, speculating. This is just my opinion, guys. This is just my opinion. Let me preface that as well. It's just my opinion. But when you look at the studio closures, where they're allocating those resources to, the mindset behind acquiring Activision, it's right there in front of you. Satya, and you can even look at it from the perspective, of Satya and kind of like how they've done things in the business. Microsoft 365 subscription based. It's on everything. You can get Microsoft 365 on Apple, on Androids, on everywhere. You get that shit anywhere. Azure cloud servers. That's one of the biggest cloud platforms in the world. I think Azure is bigger than AWS. Or AWS might be a little bit bigger. Pause. Or Azure, actually, I think Azure is bigger, actually. So the largest cloud platform in the world. They're not keeping that gate kept to just them. You can use Azure for anything, anywhere. I believe that the approach for Satya is the same thing with gaming. You don't put Sea of Thieves and all these other games on other platforms as a test and not reciprocate or continue to do that if the test succeeds. I think they need to double, triple, and quadruple down on the fuckery. Yo, Damien, what's good, man? Yo, let me bring the chat over here, man. Let me pop this chat out. Bring the chat over here, man. So, there's that. Yo, Gamer Boy 83, what's good? Bats in the building. It sounds like they are putting all their eggs into the Elder Scrolls basket. It's not even just the Elder Scrolls basket. It's not just the Elder Scrolls basket. And listen, they're bringing out single player titles as well. We got Indiana Jones, we got Clock Tower or Clockwork Orange, or Clock Tower, whatever the Clockwork game is that's coming out. They still got single player titles coming out. I'm not saying that they're 100% abandoning that, but what I do think is that for Microsoft, the main focus is service-based gaming that can generate recurring revenue because they sunk a lot of money into buying these publishers. You're not going to make that back tenfold by only putting single-player titles out. Excuse me, sorry, guys. You're not doing that. The only way you're going to do that is by putting out the games that can generate recurring revenue, because buying games on Xbox ecosystem, buying games is a thing of the past. That's just not happening. Microsoft is third in everything when it comes to consoles. They're third. So that's not happening.
Stop it. Get some help.
Oh shit, my fault.
I told you so.
Stop it. Get some help. Stop it. Get some help.
Oh, my fault.
Stop it. Get some help. Stop it. Get some help.
And listen. For sorry, I pressed like two of the wrong buttons and it was kind of loud. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't mean for it to be that loud. Sorry. I want to get to the community. I want to talk to the community. I want to get to the community side of things real quick. We're going to come back to this. I want to get to the community real quick. But I want to set it up for you guys. I want to set it up, right? So when these acquisitions were happening, right? So when Bethesda happened, I was kind of like, all right, it is what it is, whatever. It's not really super duper crazy, although I didn't really agree with it at the time either. I wasn't really one of these people that was, screaming at the moon, oh my God, it's over, da da da. Although I did say, I don't think Microsoft, I said it then, I said it with Activision, I'm gonna say it now, and I'm gonna say it till I'm blue in the goddamn face. I do not think that Microsoft is, we're seeing them go the way of Embracer. They bought too much too soon, and they can't manage it, can't handle it, can't sustain it. And this is $1 trillion company. People are telling you, oh my God, well, Microsoft's $1 trillion company. So, they can foot the bill. They can keep putting things in a service infinitely. It's that, remember when people were saying that? Oh yeah, they can put things into a service. They can cover the loss of putting shit into a service. And I'm sitting there like, huh? Just because this is $1 trillion company does not mean that they are just going to keep putting money into a black hole. There needs to be some return on that investment. You do realize that, right? People were just running with the fact that it was $1 trillion company and stopping it at that. But that's another conversation. I want to get on people in this community because now what I'm tending to see in this community is people having regret and remorse. Maybe, well, maybe Microsoft shouldn't have acquired Activision. I'm worried. They've done is shut down studios. They've shut down more studios than they've released games. Man, I actually think I'm gonna take back what I said about Microsoft acquiring these studios. And then they wanted them to buy Sega and all this other shit next. So they need to buy Take-Two and Sega, and this is what's great for gaming. The argument that people were pushing on you was that Microsoft buying Activision and buying these publishers means that more people can have access to gaming. When in reality, they were mad at the fact that PlayStation would have timed exclusive deals on like weapons and skins or a mission or some shit like that. They remember last year and the year before when people were pushing that narrative of, oh yeah, PlayStation doing timed deals on games and locking Xbox out of this game, or why do I have to wait a year to get this weapon? Why is PlayStation doing timed exclusivity on missions and weapon skins and this and that? And this is why we need Microsoft in the industry, because it keeps PlayStation in check. That's what they were telling you. They were pushing this narrative of the big bad Sony, the big bad PlayStation is what's killing gaming. It's what's hurting gaming. And listen, PlayStation is not absolved of anything that, listen, I'm looking at PlayStation with the mega side eye right now. But again, this show is not about PlayStation. It's about SAAs. So we're going to talk about SAAs in this news. But I want to paint a picture of somebody specifically that I was very adamant. This is 2 years ago. I was very adamant. I was speaking on consolidation and how, again, shout out to Sean Layden. I don't know, Sean probably listening right now. Yo, Sean, what's good, bro? Shout out to my boy Sean. He probably listening right now. I was very adamant about industry consolidation and the worry, especially when it comes to Activision and the foothold that Activision has within this industry, right? My argument at the time was Activision is too big of a piece of the pie within this industry to lock down behind one company. It's too big of a piece of a pie. They have too many hands in the pot. It's like, what did I compare it to at the time? I believe I compared it to like, all right, so like for those who might that know investing, you know what a blue chip stock is, right? For those who might not know what a blue chip stock is, a blue chip stock is like a JP Morgan, a General Motors. Oh no, not General Motors. What is it? General Electric. Like those type of stocks where if a stock like that goes away or fails or something, like we've got bigger problems. Those are like considered very strong stocks. Like if you were to invest in something or try to build a portfolio, you would have like one or two blue chip stocks within your portfolio. So a General Electric or something like that would be considered a blue chip. Anyway, that's not the point. So Coca-Cola, thank you, Barry. Coca-Cola, those types of stocks are considered blue chip stocks. So the point that I was trying to make at the time when I was arguing or going back, Johnson & Johnson's another one. Thank you, Barry. When I was going back and forth with this individual was that Activision is like a blue chip stock. And there's such a large piece of the industry, such a large piece of the pie, locking something like that down behind one company and having full autonomy over that, full control over such a large piece of the industry like that is pretty detrimental. Like that's not a good thing. Like I can't imagine anyone being in favor of that. Now Bethesda, that's a different thing. That they're not that big of a piece of the pie, you know. Although that also turned out to be a bad investment as well, because look what they're doing. They're shutting studio down, laying people off and things like that. I mean, you know, we talked about this before as well, but something like an Activision, I think, would be even worse, right? So that's why the whole thing with the CMA and the FTC and all that for a whole year and everything was going on the way it did, whatever, right? So this person, we were going back and forth, and this person was very for and the Activision and didn't care and doesn't care about this. I want to go through this conversation I had with this person, and I just want to point out that there's many people like this person who were talking the same things, saying the same types of things, had the same type of thinking and thought points, and was pushing the same type of narrative of why Microsoft buying these publishers is such a great thing and so great for the industry and all this bullshit, right? But I do want to put the disclaimer out there before we go through this, right? I'm only attacking or critiquing the gaming points. I'm not attacking this person personally. I'm not attacking this person, as an individual, where I'm only critiquing the gaming points. I want to put that out there because I know how these things can kind of get out of control. But anyway, and I don't have an issue with this person personally, right? We had a disagreement. We disagreed respectfully and kind of left it at that, right? But I do want to go through this because this was a great example of what I'm talking about when it comes to how some people were thinking, right? All right, so here we go. So I think we all are I think we all know who Destin Legary is. You know, he works for IGN. And you know, I don't think he's a bad person or anything. Like I said, I don't have any personal issues with Destin, right? This is just me kind of critiquing the gaming points and the gaming opinions, right? But back in 2022, me and Destin had a bit of a back and forth on the timeline, and the conversation was around Activision. The conversation was around industry consolidation and all these other different things, right? So I seen a tweet, and again, this is at a time where I would reply to certain things. I don't reply as much to a lot of people anymore because I really don't care. And plus, I'm not really on here as much anymore. But at the time, when I would see stupid shit, I'd be like, yo, I gotta reply to this because this shit is crazy. So Destin had put out a tweet. He was saying, we want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality gaming experiences, and we appreciate the CMA's focus on protecting gamers. Xbox, and then he quote tweeting what I think PlayStation this is what CMA was saying about guaranteeing quality or whatever at the time. And then he says, Xbox has repeatedly committed to Xbox staying multi-platform. Meanwhile, here's Sony version of protecting gamers, and it's an exclusive skin and exclusive missions or whatever, or an exclusive mission and exclusive gun and skin for Hogwarts Legacy and Call of Duty, right? And when I see this at the time, I was laughing because I'm just like, yo, what the fuck is this, right? I was like, yo, this shit is crazy. So I really thought this just really didn't make no sense to me. So I was like, yo, did you get hacked? And he goes, because I'm calling out Jim Ryan for talking nonsense, pretty sure I don't need to be hacked for that. So I said, well, this was your fourth post that I've seen you making console war-like tweets, which is why I asked, carry on. Because remember at that time, you had all these media guys like, denouncing console war-like behavior and things like that. But then a lot of things that they would say would fall along those lines of like console warring and kind of like rocking the boat, regardless if it's a PlayStation or Xbox leaning opinion. There was still some type of console warring going on at the time. So, I was questioning it, right? Because I'm just like, it's just weird because, whatever. He says, Jim Ryan said it, not me. Maybe talk to him about console war-like statements. And so I said, actually, I'm speaking on you trying to be disingenuous with your arguments. An exclusive skin, weapon blueprint, or exclusive access to a beta is not the equivalent of a $70 billion acquisition of an entire company. Also, they're still under contract, so this stuff is expected. Why do you care about who owns Call of Duty when it will still come to the PlayStation? He's negating my point. Like, again, we're talking about the sheer size and magnitude of this level of an acquisition. This was even, I believe, one of the largest acquisitions in terms of cost within the entire industry history. $70 billion. This is massive. And this is such a large part of the industry. It's just negating it, right? So he says, why do you care about who owns Call of Duty when it will still come to PlayStation? So I said, because I actually care about the quality of the games in the franchise. Why don't you care about industry consolidation? Now, again, we know that Microsoft is not really, they're not really the face of high quality gaming. And we know that Call of Duty has been on the decline. Well, I'll say for me personally, Call of Duty has been on the decline for my enjoyment and what I would expect out of a Call of Duty game. It's been declining like significantly, right? The last Call of Duty that I could actually even stomach and play was Call of Duty Cold War. I played a lot of what was that one we played, Bari? Not Modern Warfare 3, the one before Modern Warfare 3. Modern Warfare 2. I tried to play a lot. I don't even think I cracked 100 hours in Modern Warfare 2. That's how bad the game is. Then the one after Cold War I wasn't feeling, and then Modern Warfare 3 it just wasn't good. I'm praying that Treyarch can bring us back to form or whatever. So yeah, but I don't have faith that Call of Duty being under Microsoft would necessarily mean that the quality of these games would also go up. You get what I'm saying? So then he says, first, all signs point to better working conditions if the deal goes through. If it doesn't, it will not be pretty for Activision. Second, I don't care about consolidation because there's nothing to indicate it will have a negative impact. Just like I wasn't worried about Sony buying Sony bought Bungie. Let's get into the bullshit.
Stop it.
Let's get into the bullshit. Huh? Oh, Destin, how I know you wish you can roll this shit back. Come in front of the congregation, please. Come in front of the congregation.
Stop it. Get some help.
Huh? If it doesn't, what did he say? I don't care about consolidation because there's nothing to indicate it will have a negative impact. Oh, how I wish you could delete this tweet now, huh, Destin? Fast forward 2 years, 2024, and we're seeing the negative impacts of consolidation of this size from both Bethesda and Activision, Destin. But remember, because it wasn't happening at the time, or at least not happening as frequently, you didn't see an issue because you didn't have the foresight to look forward and see and realize that owning such a large piece of the pie for a studio or for a company that has not shown their ability to effectively manage studios, put out great games, put out high quality games. But no, at the time, Destin, you were clouded by the fact that PlayStation gamers or PlayStation was locking down an exclusive skin, an exclusive gun. So you would rather see an industry be swallowed up by a mega corporation like Microsoft than to be honest with yourself and speak on why consolidation would be hurtful to the industry. You said it, not me, Destin. I don't care about, let's read it slowly, guys. I don't care about industry consolidation because there's nothing to indicate it will have a negative impact. Then to use Bungie, which is not a publisher, which is not a large piece of the pie, which is a development studio, a developer, not a publisher. They are a developer. What are we doing here? False equivalency much? False equivalency much? Destin?
Stop it. Get some
But I
help.
get it, Destin. It's great for gamers because now Call of Duty will now be able to be played on your Samsung fucking TV, on your Samsung refrigerator and your Frigidaire stove.
This is great for gamers. But this is great for gamers.
Now little Billy and little Sally down the street that can't afford fucking shoes, can't afford to put food on the table. The mom can't put food on the table. Oh, but now little Billy and little Sally and little Timmy can play Call of Duty for $5.99 a month on Game Pass.
But this is great for gamers.
Right, Destin? Because that's what's most important, right? Anyway. So I said, what sign is that? Bungie is not a publisher that amounts to a sizable portion of the industry. Comparing a development team to an entire publisher is a false equivalency. Put a one, you know what? Before we continue, ladies and gentlemen, put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't agree with me. I'm curious. Before we continue, I'm very curious to hear what the audience is thinking. Let me know in the chat. I really want to know. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't agree with your boy Persona. And be honest. Be honest. Please, be honest. I want you to be very honest. Very, 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 very honest. I'm seeing the ones. I'm seeing the ones. I'm seeing the ones. 1 is the loneliest number that you ever knew. 2 could be as bad as 1, but the loneliest number is the number 1. Yeah, that's right. All right. Let me know what you think. Be honest. Oh, man. Jez said 2? Oh, man. Yo, shout out to Jez, man. All right. So then Destin says, you keep saying an entire publisher like I should care. Where were you when Gearbox was acquired by Embracer? You didn't care because it did not involve Sony. And now we're seeing what's happening. It's funny that the things that he used 2 years later, we're seeing the fallout from that because now Gearbox is no longer under Embracer and part of it was shut down. So that was also bad. It was bad then and it's bad now because of the fallout and the repercussions of said acquisition. But again, Destin, that has nothing to do with the point. All I'm seeing is whataboutisms. You're not speaking on the point. What's going on? Destin, big bro. What's up, man? Dude. Then he said, do I have that like I should care? I don't think I have it. Oh, yeah.
It's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal.
It's not that big a deal. Shout out to this person that says Embrace is not a platform owner. What did I let me not show Yudi. Let me not show Yudi. Yudi, my boy. I don't want to expose Yudi. Lord have mercy. Jesus Christ. Cause Yudi could get exposed here. You know what I say, my boy? So then he says, for real, don't give me this I worry about the industry consolidation nonsense when you really only care about it impacting Sony. Bro, it's not the case. So then I said, using that logic, doesn't that mean you only care about it this much because it would make Sony look better? Because clearly, if I care so much about this not going through or this impacting the industry and its consolidation because I only care about Sony, wouldn't that in turn mean that you care so much about this going through? Because you can play Call of Duty right now. You can play all of these games right now. At the time, I'm speaking in past tense of at that time. You could have played, and even right now you can still play those games, you know, right now anyway, but you could play these games. So why do you care so much? Don't tell me it's the virtual signaling, because, you know, that's, you know, I am going to get into that. Nope. Anyway, he says, I said nothing about Microsoft here. I'm calling you out. I can see all 4 times you've talked about your newfound concern for industry consolidation with a simple search. Funny that it just started on the 4th and is only about Activision and no one else. Ooh, that boy. Ooh, Lord have mercy. Ooh, Destin did his homework on that one. He caught me there. Ooh, he caught me there. I'm shivering now, boy. Ooh, I need backup. He caught your boy there. He did a search. That boy did a search. He did a search on your boy. He did a search and search and destroy, boy. He was really playing Call of Duty on that one.
Stop it. Get some help.
Oops, that was too loud. I keep forgetting I got to turn it down a little bit.
Stop it. Get some help.
That man said, I'm doing search and destroy on you. So I said, LOL, there's nothing to call out. No other publisher of the magnitude of Activision has accepted a deal yet. Also, this has nothing to do with you being in favor of further consolidation for the sake of bragging about your preferred console. I think I was being sarcastic here. I think. So then I said, by the way, next time, check my YouTube channel before you try to expose me. Have a good week. Have a good evening. Oh, there go Tim Dog. I ain't gonna expose Tim Dog now. Tim Dog, good peoples. What the? Let me see. Where I think it's this one. People don't have to create what they want. It's because of. Okay, here we go. So I posted up a clip from one of my shows, and actually, funny enough, this was from an interview. And this is actually from a year. So this was actually from 2021. So this was this show. So this is 2 years ago that I was having this back and forth with Destin. This show was from a year ago from there. So this was from 2021. Excuse me. And I was like, oh, really? Okay. I've been talking about this for years on my show. So then he goes, so I play it. So I just want to play the clip for y'all so y'all can hear it. When I think consolidation, my mind kind of, when I think consolidation in the industry, damn, I can tell how shitty my mic is here too. Lord have mercy. I do think of, you know, obviously the same old when it comes to games, right? But I think also, because, you know, the problem with diversity, you know, everyone not having the freedom to damn, Chuck was, Mario was liking so many damn tweets. A lot of that
freedom that people don't have to create what they want is because of who they answer to or who they're under. How does that work? Acquisitions, things of that nature. I kind of think it kind of falls within that as well when you read between the lines a little bit. Yo, Juan Sosa Gamer, what's good, bro? Appreciate you. But, you know, I might be off base a little bit. But that's what I think. I do think. And in terms of acquisitions, I mean, listen, you know, I don't think any of us want to live within an industry where everything is owned by only 3 or 4 people, right? You want to have that independence. You want to have people that's just creating and making what they want and don't really have to answer to any suits or explain how this is lucrative for the company or things like that. I understand that 1,000,000%, right?
Then he said something else. There was something else that he said, I think. Didn't he say something else? Oh, here we go. All right, so here we go. So then he replies and he says, "This you?" Yo, that boy was on search and destroy mode, boy. He says, seconds later in the same video, based on what you said here, I'm sure Xbox is glad to have your support. Acquisitions are always going to happen and should happen. Still doesn't sound like someone concerned about industry consolidation. Let's hear this part.
I would love for them to have Square and Arc Systems. I think that would be great for PlayStation. I'm not going to sit here and deny that, but I'm not expecting them to go out and buy the industry. I'm not expecting them to.
Thinking back, how the fuck? Hold on, I gotta play this back because now that I'm thinking back to this back and forth. How did he think this was a gotcha? Yo, he definitely didn't listen to this whole clip. Yo, Destin, you ain't listened to this whole clip, my boy.
Listen,
he definitely didn't listen to this whole clip.
acquisitions are always going to happen, and I do think they should happen, but strategically. In terms of acquisitions, I would love for them to have Square.
And you see what he did here? He clipped two different sections of what I was saying in this show and tried to make it look like I'm being hypocritical with what I'm saying. No, it all still aligns with my thought process, but let's listen to this.
And Arc Systems, I think that would be great for PlayStation. I'm not going to sit here and deny that, but I'm not expecting them to go out and buy the industry. I'm not expecting them to eat up the industry and keep everything on one platform.
So once again, going back to my argument, I am not in favor of industry consolidation. And if at that time when I was speaking on that, that was in response to how PlayStation should move within the industry if we're in an industry where everything is being bought up. Because remember guys, you guys forget, a lot of people forget, back in 2021, 2022 and all this, people were using the argument of, well, Microsoft's not the bad guy here. It's Google and Amazon. Google and Amazon are billion-dollar companies, and they're getting into gaming. And if they're getting into gaming, then they're gonna start buying stuff up as well. So this is why it's okay for Microsoft to buy everything, because if Microsoft buys it, at least we know they're gonna stop it. They're gonna stop Apple and Amazon and Google and Amazon. That's what people were talking about. That's what people were talking about, and the excuses they were making for the Bethesda deal. That was the excuse they were still trying to make when it came to the Activision deal. And for those that was following this for a long time and around, that's what they were talking about. They were trying to use the fact that Google and Amazon was also in gaming, and they were big players in gaming that could also spend a lot of money and would also lock PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo out of games if they got lock things down. That was the argument that you had a lot of zealots and fanboys trying to use for why Microsoft acquiring publishers is a smart move, because it keeps Google and it keeps Amazon at bay. That's what the argument was back then. Go back and do your research on that. That's the argument that you had a lot of people trying to use, which was bullshit. And then you remember you had Phil Spencer also saying, oh, well, at the time, he was saying, it's not about Nintendo and PlayStation. Our focus is Google and the big players like that and stopping them and all this other shit he was talking about. That's what he was talking about. And that's what people were running with for a very long time. So in the interest of those conversations, I was saying, if we're in an industry where everything is being bought up, I'm not going to sit there and say, well, PlayStation shouldn't get a piece of the pie so that they can also remain competitive. No. If everybody is buying up everything, why would you sit on your hands and not buy anything? At that point, it's a fire sale, and you're going to have to get something if that's the way the industry is going. So, of course, I said that. But again, let's go back to the part that he clearly neglected to listen to.
PlayStation. I'm not going to sit here and deny that. But I'm not expecting them to go out and buy the industry. I'm not expecting them to eat up the industry and keep everything on one platform.
I'm not expecting PlayStation. And see, and this is the difference between the thought process for a lot of these dudes, especially during the Activision time and now, right? The thought process for me is PlayStation should buy what makes sense to them. Even with Bethesda, I said this on 6 podcasts. The day the news hit with Bethesda, I said, because people were saying, oh, well, PlayStation's got to buy this. PlayStation's got to buy that. Even on WUPS. Go back to the early days of WUPS when me and Bari was talking about this stuff. And I said, Bari said it as well. We both said it. PlayStation should buy what makes sense. I remain to that. That's my point today. But the thought process with a lot of these Xbox dudes is, oh, okay, they bought Bethesda, they bought Activision. Now they need to buy Sega or Take-Two. You don't believe me? I'll show you. You don't believe me? I'll fucking show you. By the way, shout out to the Iron Lords podcast because I respect those dudes a lot. And I really love what they're doing over there. This is not really about the Iron Lords. It's about the guest on the Iron Lords. Let's talk about it.
Square? I mean, that would be interesting. If they bought Square, I mean, that would be interesting. I think they're going to buy Take-Two, though.
Oh,
God.
Wait, you think Sony's gonna buy Take-Two?
You heard it here first.
No. Microsoft.
Oh, Microsoft's gonna buy
Wow.
Take-Two.
Yeah,
you don't
like,
got money
they
like
have
that.
the relationship.
Hold on,
let
me hear this. Let me hear this.
Grand Theft Auto's on xCloud right now. It's back
A company with two public, know what? I'm gonna let the whole thing play out.
on it's on Game Pass, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So like that relationship has been going for a while now. They did that little test the water with Game Pass back in the day where it was on there for like a day and then off, and now they're back at the table. It's really interesting timing. Like the day the FTC loses. Grand Theft Auto 5.
Do you think?
Can you?
If they bought Square?
So the company that's two publishers in. You're two publishers in. And we're talking about what they need to buy next. That's the difference here. That's the difference here. The difference is PlayStation buys what makes sense to them. But here, now they need to buy Take-Two. And now they need to buy this. They should buy Sega. They should buy this. The fuck are we doing? What are we doing here? What the fuck are we doing here? And again, shout out to the Iron Lords. This is not about them. This is about Destin. Shout out to the Iron Lords. Iron Lords are great people. I rock with those dudes heavy. So shout out to the Iron Lords. That's what he said. Destin, those are not my words. Those are yours. Remember, you said you don't care about consolidation. You told us that there is no negative to consolidation. Destin, this is what you told us. This is what you told me. You told me to my face, or to the screen. I don't want to say it to my face. I don't care because there is no negative impact. So I wonder, Destin, do you feel that way now? Oh, wait, let me show you my reply. I said, 1, this portion of my video has nothing to do with me proving to you that I was speaking about consolidation before last month. It doesn't, because he showed, again, this is clearly a show from a year ago, which I was speaking about it. 2, of course acquisitions are going to happen. It's business. It doesn't negate that some can be more harmful to the industry than others, which is also true. PlayStation buying something of the likes of a Bungie is not the equivalent of Microsoft buying both Bethesda and Activision, which is two mega corporations and two massive, or let me not even say Bethesda, Zenimax, buying Zenimax and Activision, which are two massive publishers and a big part of the pie, and Activision being one of the biggest parts of the pie when it comes to this industry. So when we're talking about industry consolidation, in a perfect world, there wouldn't be any consolidation, right? But we don't live in a perfect world. But in a righteous world, everything shouldn't be being bought by a company that has not proven themselves to be able to sustain what it is that they already have or make it successful. They shouldn't. But Destin, you told us here. You told us here. They need to buy Take-Two next. That's what you just told us. And then what about after Take-Two? You want Sega? You want it all under Microsoft, but why? But Destin, I wonder if you still feel this way now. Let's fast forward to now. Did I say anything else after this? I don't think I did. Yo, shout out to Court. Did you say it? Let me see how you feel now, Destin. Stranded Ninja was good. Felix was good. Xbox just announced the closure of Tango Gameworks, Arcane Austin, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse Games. I'm at a loss for words. This failure is on Xbox and Microsoft, not these studios. Absolutely terrible. And I agree with you there. The failure is absolutely on Microsoft and not on those studios. Those studios being shut down, being closed, or being absorbed is absolutely disgusting. And I hope that the developers can land on their feet. But we're not here about that. I'm here about you, Destin. I'm here to point out where you fucked up. Because Destin 2 years ago is a very different Destin. Destin 2 years ago is a very different Destin from now. Destin 2 years ago is a very different Destin from today. When people were speaking on this and how detrimental it could be to the industry, what did you say, Destin? You spat in their face. You spat in my face. I don't care about consolidation because there's nothing to indicate it will have a negative impact. Well, Destin, how do you feel now? Oh, I know how you feel now. You're at a loss for words. You didn't seem to be at a loss for words 2 years ago. But you're at a loss for words now. Why? You championed this. You championed this knowing that Microsoft, because remember guys, when the Xbox Series consoles came out for this generation, they didn't release with any games. Halo was a broken mess when it finally released. They delayed the games and all this other stuff. There was a lot of other stuff that was happening with the other studios. Everwild got shown in 2019 and then we ain't never see it again. Hellblade 2 got shown once at a Game Awards, never saw it again. We were seeing the remnants of Microsoft's inability to not only rally their studios and steer the ship, but also their inability to produce a high quality product. Going back from last generation to now. And it's not like this wasn't known. This was known across the industry. This was known across the board. This was known across everywhere. But still, people rallied and championed behind these acquisitions. Teasy, thank you, Teasy. Where is the marketing for Hellblade 2? It comes out in 2 weeks. It comes out in 2 weeks, and there's no marketing. Destin, buddy, what's changed? After the studio closes of today, even diehard Xbox fans are like, for that reason, I'm out. This is what did it. This is what did it. Not the lackluster releases, the low quality games, the releases being far and few in between. This is what did it. Stop being performative, Destin. You're performing at this point. More studios to fire more people. What more finishing do I need? No one who is knowledgeable. This and that. Destin, 2 years ago, you didn't care. And I forgot when, I don't know when this show was. I don't know if this was a year ago, 2 years ago. I don't know. Or 6 months ago. I don't know. But, you know, speaking on Ninja Theory might, I hate to say this, man. I was saying this in the space earlier. Sorry. I was saying this in the space earlier that when it comes to Ninja Theory, I feel that Ninja Theory might be next if their game ain't a hit. If Hellblade 2 is not a hit or is not reaching some type of goals or whatever they're setting internally, I've got a feeling that Ninja Theory is going to go one of two ways. They're going to either shut down, which I would absolutely not want to see at all, or they're going to get absorbed into one of the bigger machines and support one of those games as a service games. I have a feeling that's going to happen. And anybody that's trying to tell you, no, that's not going to happen, read the room, man. Like, yo, all this console war shit aside, man. Like, cause really, the console war shit put all that bullshit to the side. Read the room, man. Read the room. Look what Microsoft is doing and how they're moving. That is absolutely on the table. There is not a shadow of doubt in my mind that that is on the table. Microsoft is going to cut anything that is not going to make them no money. Period. And this is not just a Microsoft thing. I have to preface that. This is not just a Microsoft thing. This is an industry thing because we're seeing this happen across the industry. This is an industry thing. This is an industry issue. But as of right now and as of today, the news is centered around Microsoft. But this is absolutely an industry problem, PlayStation included. It's a problem. There's no way Hellblade 2 brings in the type of numbers it needs to without being on PlayStation. I'm not going to say that Hellblade 2 will or will not be on PlayStation, especially with how they've been moving as of recently. It's definitely a possibility that it could be on PlayStation. I don't know. I bought it on PC, and I'll play it once I'm done platinum these other games. But I agree that I am not seeing enough hype around Hellblade 2, right? And here's the thing. With the first game, I played the first game back in 2017. I thought it was great. Got the platinum, all that stuff. A lot of these Xbox zealots were telling you that it was a walking simulator. And if you ask one of them now, they would tell you that they wouldn't buy the game if it wasn't in Game Pass. I'm telling you, buy the game. If you are interested in Hellblade 2, buy the goddamn game. Where's it at? If you are interested in Hellblade 2, buy the goddamn game. Buy the game, man. Because I'm telling you, bro. And some people, Persona, you're fear mongering. I'm not trying to fear monger nothing. If you're not looking at this industry right now and looking at all the mass layoffs, all the studio closures, all the game cancellations, what just recently happened today with Microsoft. This is a $1 trillion company. That's the argument y'all use. It's a $1 trillion company, and still they are shutting shit down. Ninja Theory getting shut down or being absorbed into a larger studio is absolutely on the table. Absolutely. And if you believe otherwise, your head's in the sand, get your head out of your ass, and be honest with yourself. Because you're lying to yourself. You're not lying to me. You're not lying to the community. You're not lying to the developers that are losing their jobs left and right. You're lying to yourself. Stop it.
Stop it. Get some help. Stop it. Get some help.
Stop. It's embarrassing. At this point, I don't care where you prefer to play your games. I seriously do not care. This is not a conversation of console war shit. Because that's what people... That's what people will try to relegate this down to. Oh, it's just console war banter. No, this is not console war bullshit, right? If you are looking at this industry and looking at everything that has transpired to now and looking at Hellblade 2 and thinking, oh, even if it doesn't sell or if it doesn't do good, Ninja Theory will be fine. Stop. You're lying to yourself. Stop it. Disgusting, man. It's disgusting. Hey, Persona, I'll stop you when you're wrong. Keep cooking. Yo, shout out to y'all in the chat, man. Okay, never mind. Tease my... Yo, Eric said, Persona, the game will be 8 hours long. If there is no hype or marketing, it will not be talked about after a week. It's too short a game to have word of mouth. Yo, listen. This is what I'm saying. Yo, PlayStation... I'm going to bring this up just for the sake of this conversation. When PlayStation was putting out yo, the marketing for Stellar Blade was so much, man. Well, I was like, yo, you guys are actually marketing this game too goddamn much now. PlayStation was marketing the hell out of this AA or AAA, not AA, but second party game, marketing it crazy. Why is nobody looking at Phil Spencer? Why does this man still in charge? Yo, Felix, that's a great point. That's a great point. Why is Phil Spencer in charge? Like, at this point, and I was saying this earlier, at this point, at this point, I feel like, yo, listen, you gotta blame leadership. And so, and people say, oh, well, it's not. No, it is Phil's fault. You have to blame leadership because Heavy is the head who wears the crown. Heavy is the head who wears the crown. Heavy is the head who wears the crown. Philip Bartholomew J. Spencer is the head of SBOS. And his two cohorts, Sarah Bond and Matt Booty, run their respective divisions. You gotta blame the leadership. You have to look at the leadership and ask what is going on here. And not even just the leadership at Microsoft, although that is where most of it should be looked at, because even if things aren't going good at studios or things aren't happening, that foresight is not there. And again, it's because it's too much. It's too much. They have too much right now, man. They cannot manage this all. Just look at what's happening with Embracer. Embracer is imploding. It's way too much. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. But somebody's gonna flip this and try to turn this into, oh, well, you know, those studios weren't doing that good anyway, and who cares, and it's not that big a deal, and all this other stuff, you know.
Not that big a deal.
You know how they do it.
It's not that big a deal.
Or, you know, they'll try to flip it.
This is great for this is great for gamers.
And again, going back to Game Pass, a large portion of this, in the sense of the mind of the gamer, is the fact that they're not buying games. So you have to maximize your profits elsewhere. But also the landscape of gaming is changing. Stone said, Persona, people should have seen the Embracer shit a mile away, because that group had a history of buying companies and things to break them apart and sell them. Yep. That's a holding company. Embracer Group is a holding company. That's all they are. They're a holding company. They buy things and then try to sell it at a profit. They buy low, sell high. Buy low, sell high. That's the trader's motto. Buy low, sell high. It's crazy. Man, that took a lot out of me, man. Being this hyped up, man. You guys are, I'm chucking through for you guys, man, because I wanted the show to be entertaining, but believe me, I've used up a lot of my energy being this animated while being sick. But listen, Cloud Strike said, Persona, Sarah Bond out here deleting tweets and being wait, hold on. Oh shit. Sarah Bond out here deleting tweets and tweets about being united too. It's a damn circus. Really? She deleted tweets? Yo, I like Sarah Bond, man. I think Sarah Bond is a dope, is a cool woman, man. But really and truly, I don't. And here's the thing. I don't personally have an issue with any of them. You know, Matt Booty, Sarah Bond, Phil Spencer. I don't have an issue with any of them. I'm sure in real life these are great people. Really and truly, I really do. I don't have a personal issue with any of them. But in terms of how they're running the business of gaming, the business of Xbox, that's where my issues lie. And the proof is in the pudding in what we're seeing happen all around us. what just happened today. Again, I don't have any issues with these people. I think I'm sure they're great people in real life. But you have to look at things. I'm looking at things holistically. I'm looking at things holistically, and looking at things holistically, I do not think they're getting the job done when it comes to Xbox, the brand, the division, things like that. I just do not think they're getting the job done with that stuff. Personally speaking. Ceremony. No, that's what I'm saying. I think there needs to be a changing of the guard across the board. So real quick, here's the 3 things that I really truly think that Microsoft should do. My opinion. This is just my opinion. I'm not saying this is the right or wrong thing. If you disagree, that's perfectly fine. But this is what I think. The first order of business, you need to renege on Game Pass. You need to renege on it, man. I keep saying that shit because I'm telling you, the day and date Game Pass is a large driving force behind why a lot of the things are happening the way they are. I'm telling you. And it's not just Game Pass. Subscription-based services in general, I just don't think is a sustainable model long term, right? With every single thing. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Mari just sent me some crazy shit. What? I do think that they need to renege on Game Pass day and date. They need to go to a case by case model with Game Pass and not have everything day and date. They need to absolutely renege on that 100%, 1,000,000%. First order of business. Second order of business, quality control. They need to get people in there that can look at these games. First of all, you need to get people in here that understand the gamer. And then you need to get that person that understands the gamer to look at these games and say, nah, I don't think people was going to really play that. Or I don't think this is a game that really is hitting. And again, everything doesn't need to be AAA. This could be AA, single A, indie, whatever. Somebody that has an eye, somebody like Shuhei Yoshida that can look at something like he did with God of War 2018 and said, nah, this ain't it. Clean this up. You got to fix this. When I come back again, I want to see improvements. They need somebody like that at at Microsoft in the position of Matt Booty, in Matt Booty's position. And doing his rounds at these studios and saying, nah, no, this ain't it. Nope. Quality control. Renege on Game Pass and quality control are 2 of the most important things that need to happen at Microsoft. They have to get the quality of these games up as well, because that's another thing, man. Like, these games just aren't at that level, like how you would, with PlayStation, you expect that quality to be there. With Microsoft, a lot of people don't, which is why a lot of people don't pay attention to the games as well. That's a contributing factor to it. But quality control is the second thing. Third thing, stop. This is going to sound kind of crazy. Stop being too... I ain't even going to say that. The third thing, those are the 2 things. Renege on Game Pass and quality control. I don't think MJ, what's good? I don't know if I said what's up to you. Broken Lobo was good. Danger Zone. Everybody, Lord Hog. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I appreciate y'all rocking out with me this evening, man. Renege on Game Pass and quality control, I think, are the 2 most important things that Microsoft needs to focus on. Because the quality control is not there. The third thing, they don't need to buy nothing else until they get their house in order. Nothing else. Nothing. Not even a studio. Nothing else should be bought from Microsoft until they get they shit in order. They need to get this quality. They need to get your Blackbeard. What's up, man? They need to get the quality control there, man. The quality control is not there. It's not there. It's not there, man. It's not there. So I don't think they need to be taking on any other challenges of acquiring anything else. Really, I think they've got enough anyway. They really shouldn't be buying nothing else anyway. Like, I really think this should be it for them. But we all know with the way this world works, it ain't. It most likely isn't. But they don't need to be buying anything else right now. Nothing. Nope. Get that quality on point. You need to do quality control. You need to do recon and do some quality control, man. Persona, do you think we'll see a heavy price increase of Game Pass? Possibly. I wouldn't say heavy, but I do think a price increase is definitely. Yo, listen. Here's the other thing, bro. Here's the other thing, right? I told people this as well. When the acquisition first came about, when the news first came about, when it came to the Activision acquisition, I said this. That $70 billion, customers is gonna foot that bill. People didn't believe me. Customers is gonna foot that bill one way or another, and that price increase is happening. Believe that bullshit. That price increase is happening, man. It's happening. Believe me, that's gonna happen. The crazy thing as well is like the momentum going into like another Xbox, like a Xbox next generation. I gotta be honest, man. This definitely killed any momentum. Like, I feel like the momentum for like a new Xbox is just at an all-time low, right? I can't imagine Microsoft coming out on stage and saying, yeah, you know, we got a brand new Xbox coming that's more powerful and does this and does that, after seeing all of these layoffs and studio shutdowns and not really seeing anything be reciprocated from these acquisitions that's of quality. I can't see the hype for our next Xbox being high unless you're a zealot. You know, the zealots and things like that, you know, they're going to be excited for everything. But people looking at this objectively, I don't see there being much hype for a new Xbox right now. I just don't. Persona, will Xbox gamers actually buy Hellblade 2 and Indiana Jones? Tell me what you think. Be honest. No, I don't think so. I don't think they will. I don't think you want to know what I think? And I hate to say this. I think for Hellblade 2, that game is not going to sell. It's not going to sell. I do not think that a lot of people are going to complete the game on the Xbox console. And I think there's going to be a lot of foot dipping when it comes to Hellblade 2. That's what I think. When it comes to Indiana Jones, because of the name of Indiana Jones and where it's coming from, I can see it having a bit more success. But if that gameplay don't get tightened up, man, and the look of that game don't get upped a little bit, I can see that kind of falling through the cracks as well. But you know, it's in Game Pass, so you know people don't have to buy it because it's in Game Pass. That's the response, right? It's in Game Pass. The messaging is all over the place. I don't know what Xbox is or wants to be. So I'm saying, yo, Felix, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, yo, real talk. You know what? That's another good point. That's the third one. Messaging. You know what? Here's the three things. Thank you, Felix. You just sparked something. Renege on Game Pass, quality control, and messaging. Those are the three things that that Microsoft needs to work on 100%. That messaging is absolutely horrible. Persona, how do I kick out another mod? Uh-oh. Barry try to get Barry try to get the boot. Oh man. Yo, Rob Morrison in the building. Shout out to my boy Rob, man. I ain't seen you in a minute, Rob. I hope everything is good with you. Good with everything, man. He says, I'm trying to get some Whataburger. Let me hold some. Hey, yo, Whataburger, boy. That shit crazy. Hey, yo, man. Whenever I go to Texas, I definitely got to hit up Whataburger because, yo, you got to do scamming for Whataburger? That shit must taste good as hell, man. I got to see for myself, man. Hit up some Whataburger. Boy, I've been getting yelled at for 2 days. Leave me alone. But, yo, man, listen, that's the show, ladies and gentlemen. like I said, I want to reiterate what I said earlier. People losing their jobs, studios being shut down, that stuff is not okay, regardless of who it is. Just because the topic of the conversation today is Microsoft does not mean that this absolves PlayStation or anybody else within the industry that has also done this as well. This is an industry problem and not just a Microsoft problem. It's just for the sake of the conversation today, it is centered around Microsoft, given the recent acquisitions that they've done and the things that have transpired. But this is an industry problem and not just a Microsoft problem. This is an industry problem that we need to fix. Also, buy your damn games, man. Buy your games. And I'm not saying you need to buy every single game, but the games that you are interested in, buy them shits, man. Buy the goddamn games. Yo, Cobb, I appreciate you. 3 months as a member on the channel. He says, what's good, Persona? I'm also sick. Got hit on Sunday night, but feeling better. Yo, you know what's crazy about how I think I might have gotten sick at the gym. Because, at the gym, you touching all this different equipment and stuff like that. But I'm typically really careful when I'm working out, where like I'll clean the machine, because like, they got the cleaning stations where you could get the wipes or the cleaning stuff and wipe down the machines and all that. I normally wipe them down before and after I use like the machines or whatever. I'm normally really careful with that. But I can't think of anywhere else where I might have gotten sick but at the gym. So maybe, somebody coughed around me and it traveled my direction or something. I got sick. I don't know. But I believe I might have gotten sick at the gym. So yeah, but I'm trying to nurse it back to health. I'm drinking a lot of water. I'm drinking tea. I'm drinking orange juice, and stuff like that. And we're gonna nurse this back to health, guys. We're gonna get better. But yo, with that being said, guys, I really do appreciate everybody for coming through to today's episode of When Persona Speaks. Even though your boy was sick, man, hopefully you guys did enjoy the show. If you did, definitely like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate all of you. And like I said, check out Bari, his channel. I know he did a show earlier talking about it, so that was really good. It got me through the workday, so definitely check that out. Also, there is no What's Up PlayStation podcast this weekend, guys. It's Mother's Day weekend. I know Bari's doing things with his family. I'm doing some things with my family and certain things that I got going on. So definitely no What's Up PlayStation podcast this weekend, but we'll definitely be back next weekend with episode 163. Also, like I said, I do appreciate everybody here. Also, check out, Sick Humor TV, Porter Rock. I know he's going to do his show tonight, 60 frames per second, no lag. Sick probably is going to do a show in the morning. I don't think Sick will do a show tonight. He's probably going to do a show in the morning, but definitely check out Sick as well. I'm definitely going to be tuned in for that and listening to that, because I know that's going to be really, really good, really entertaining. But yo, listen, big round of applause for everybody in the chat, man. Yo, man, I appreciate y'all. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Please be safe. And listen, guys, at the end of the day, support the hobby, man. Like, I really mean that stuff. I don't care where you play your games. Like, this isn't, like I said, this isn't a console war thing. Regardless of where you play your games, man, just support the goddamn hobby, please. Like, if you want gaming to be around when you have children or when you get old, support the goddamn hobby, please. And, chill out on the industry consolidation, guys. Play Microsoft. Phil, I know you're watching, Phil. Sarah, I know you're watching as well. Chill out on the industry. And Sati, I know you're watching too. Chill out on the consolidation, guys. Just chill out, man. Get your shit in order, please. All right, guys. I'm out, guys. Peace.